Good morning, good afternoon, and a very happy Friday, guys. I hope you are doing well today. We are back, we are talking games, and we have the awesome Zeropium with us. How are you doing?
Ah, guess who's back? Aren't you guys sick of me yet? Oh my god. Oh, look, my hair is going poofy again. Good morning, good
Yes.
afternoon, good evening to
Let's
everybody.
let's talk poofy hair, shall
Yeah,
we? Yeah.
let's post shower hair. This is not how I envision. I just fixed this like 2 minutes ago, not
You
even.
did. It's
But
true.
oh my god,
You
I
know
hate
what?
this.
Whilst Zeropium fixes his headset, let's say hello to everybody. So
Roll
we
call.
have got exactly roll call. We've got Brandon. Good morning, Brandon. We've got Keely Chow. Roll Tide, Keely. Good to see you. We've got Dave Bob. Good morning, sir. We have got our favourite polar bear, Snorter Poopers. Hello.
Hello.
Love that. We've got D-Bud Martin. Good morning. Good to see you as always. Leia Rose. Hello, lovely. Hope you're doing okay. We've got Psycho Dwarf. Good morning. I saw Gun Bunny in as well and Shockwave. Great to see you guys as always. I hope you're doing well. Let's see who else. We've got the man himself, Mexican Iron Man. Good morning.
Mim. Hail, Mim. Good to see you again, buddy. Where you been all
And
my
we
life?
Absolutely. We've got Zakarot and we have got the Noporial Lifeform and we had Archer Colin. So good afternoon to you as well. Hope you're doing well today. And Ren Zero, I see you there. Good morning. Ren Zero says, still rocking the beard, Zero.
I was just telling Purple I kept it because you guys seem to like it. It's starting to wear down on me. I don't know how much longer I can go with it, but just for you, I'm keeping it for now. At
So
least until the snow disappears.
I think we need like a full beard,
Oh
long enough
God,
that you
no.
can braid and then put a bead in, go full Viking.
Viking hair I can do, a Viking beard I don't know because it's making me look really old. Oh my goodness. Wow, Mim's starting it off early already. Look
Yes,
at
he
that.
is. And hello to the underground says never shave. So there you go.
Never
And a
shave.
big thank you and good morning to Mexican Iron Man. Thank you. He says that intro combined with the fact that it's 72 degrees on the island has me all hot and bothered. These gaming shows, giggity salsa fire.
Giggity salsify. And I want to ask, like, aren't you guys sick of me yet? I mean, he's like, oh God, here's that Zero guy gonna talk about video games again. It's like it's all he knows. If you guys want, we can talk about anything. We can talk politics. I'd prefer
Mm-hmm.
not to, because that's
Yeah.
how fights break out. But we could talk about
Religion and politics. Yes.
yeah, we could discuss existentialist thought and its effect on quantum physics. We could talk forensic pathology, human biology. What do you want to get into? Now, screw that. We're going to talk some games because they're fun. They're fun for
They are
everybody.
fun, exactly. And since we seem to be on the verge of World War III at the moment,
Ugh.
let's talk games and have some fun. I think.
Yeah.
And just before we do, thank you, Brandon, and good morning to you as always. He says, "Oh man, more gaming in my life. I put down the challenge. I challenged my girls to play a real game like SMV Final Fantasy VI, Lunar Silver Star, and if they persevered and beat the game, I would pay $100.
Wow.
Nice.
So I'm willing to bet you're still holding on to your $100. Is that accurate? I don't know. Just an educated guess. Just guessing.
That's awesome. I know a
Oh.
lot of people playing it at the moment, and they seem to be really loving the game. So that is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when
Yeah.
people get excited, and that's one of the things I wanted to ask you this morning.
Okay.
Let's wind the clock back a little bit to little
A,
Zeropium growing
a,
up.
a little bit. Oh, a little. Wind the clock back a little bit. Yeah, that's a slight exaggeration or under exaggeration, whichever way you want to look for it. We're doing it live, folks. We don't have a script here. We're just gonna go with it.
We don't. We never script anything if we can help it.
Yeah. So how far back do you want to go, Purple? What are we getting into?
Well, basically, back to the beginning. You've been I think it's fair to say, a gamer, lifelong gamer. It's something that you've always enjoyed. It's a hobby that you've always kind of gone back to. Where
Mm-hmm.
did it start for you?
Well, I mentioned this a few days ago, Monday morning.
Hmm.
Somebody in chat had asked if I remembered the first video game I ever played. And I couldn't remember specifically what it was, but growing up, being back in the 80s, we're going back that far. Um, my family had an Intellivision made by Mattel, who made Barbies and all that kind of stuff. But
Yep, they did.
Intellivision was great. And so to go back that far, like, I don't remember specifically the first game that it was. It was bundled in with, Dungeons and Dragons, Tron Deadly Discs, Snafu, Astro Smash. Oh my god, skiing, basketball, solitaire. There was a whole bunch of them. So those were the first introduction I had to video games, which is not a real easy feat if you remember the controllers that were hardwired into that wood grain lovely thing.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, with the disc and the 14 bajillion buttons on the number pad there, and yeah.
Did you ever figure out what all of those buttons did? Because I'm sure that some of them didn't actually do anything at all.
Well, if you had the game, I wish my parents still had that. They gave it away to somebody, and I just want to beat them up for it. But we had all our games in box, and every game came with an inlay that would
Back in the day. Yep.
yeah, that would slide over the number pad so you could see exactly what they're supposed to do. Still overcomplicated when you think about how primitive the games were back then. I don't see why every game that primitive needed 20 buttons to go along with it.
Yes.
But okay, that's just how it
buttons and
was.
a directional. Yeah, that's all you needed, really.
Yeah, it was a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, so oh my goodness, it was along the lines of just getting into all those primitive times, all those primitive games, but the funny thing was they were so good. They were so addictive. Like, my sister and I would play Snafu till the cows come home because it would get so chaotic and fun. It was just amazing. And skiing was
Yes.
awesome because my mom would laugh her ass off every time because your little guy is just going shh, and God forbid you hit a ski mogul, because then he would just go and then he'd get back up and ski shh, and then you hit a tree shh. It was so good. It was so good. They were so primitive, but they were so much fun. So yeah, to sum it all up, that was my introduction to video games way back in the day. This was pre-Nintendo.
Yes. We know that Nintendo is your big love, and understandably so. You know,
Yeah.
the consoles, the games that they came out, they have such a legacy behind them. It's incredible. I
Yeah.
think the first one I started with was the Master System. I
Yeah.
loved that little console. I thought it was great.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody loved the Master System. That thing had one of the longest tenures. That thing had one of the longest lifespans of any console that was ever put out there, which is crazy when you think about it. But yeah, it's true. Oh boy.
It was, and I've been looking when I was looking for the subject to talk about today. I knew we wanted to talk games because that's what we love, that's what we enjoy doing when we get together. But I thought, well, we've done collections, we've talked about specific games, but I thought we would talk about gaming in general. Now, gaming in general is seen as it's a hobby, you know, it's something that people is pretty much widely accepted now that people love. But back in the day, it was kind of a niche thing, you know.
Yeah.
If you were a gamer, sometimes, especially depending on what games you played, people kind of looked at you like you were a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Did you ever have that growing up?
I would say I was fortunate. Growing up in the time that, say, you and I grew up in, it was kind of coming into its own. It was bringing on a life of its own. Like, as soon as Nintendo came out with Zelda and Mario, everything just exploded, especially after the 83 crash and, you know, all that. And then Nintendo in their wisdom came out with the Black Box series, which showed the exact game art that you're going to be playing with. So people thought, okay, I'll take a chance on it. And it exploded. And being fortunate enough to grow up in that time, it just really brought people together, because they were suddenly in your homes. They were home
Mhm.
consoles. We had them before with Pong and stuff like that, but this was a whole other world we were getting
Yeah,
into.
this was bringing it to
Yeah.
another level. Yeah,
Yeah, this was
absolutely.
big. This was big. So I mean, my sister and I would play Super Mario 2 and Super Mario 3, all night long, and they were amazing times because we were fortunate to also have friends that had
Mhm.
them in their home. And once you start to bring that circle together, it grows, and suddenly, like I was a loner in grade school. I didn't have many friends. I just kept to myself, but you could walk down the hall and you see a bunch of jocks talking like, "Oh, what's that code for Zelda? Or where are you supposed to go on that map?" And then you're like, I can help you. I know how to do that. And suddenly you're widely accepted by
Suddenly
everybody.
you're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
exactly.
hanging with the cool kids now. It's like, "Oh, okay, come over." And then you show this guy how to do it. And it's like, "Wow, you're awesome, dude."
And I think
Not
that's
yeah.
the one thing that video games did do. Whereas people were very into comic books, they were very into board games, but it was for some reason video games were a more kind of widely accepted kind of
Mhm.
hobby, I guess you could call it.
Yeah,
Like you said
yeah.
with the jocks, if you could help them, you were in with the cool kids then.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that was your ticket to freedom, baby. I mean, yeah, that was it was a glorious time to be alive. And I mean, what was your first, do you remember specifically what your first video game was, or do you remember, is it more of a grand scheme kind of thing, what thrust you into the world of
I'm trying to remember. I do remember playing Pong back in the day, but I don't have a very strong memory of it. But I
Mhm.
think the first game that I really played that have strong memories of was actually Alex the Kid.
Oh, that's kind of ringing a bell. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, my brain is fuzzy today, but yeah, it's
I was a big Sega player, so we had things like the Master
mhm.
System, then we had the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
So it was things like Altered Beast that we played,
Yeah.
Road Rage,
Oh god,
Streets of
yeah.
Rage.
Streets of Rage. Oh my goodness. Yeah, talk about some classics, man. Were you a Sega child growing up?
I was, yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think we had any Nintendo consoles. I know. I'm a horrible person. We had things like the Game Boy, which I
Yeah.
loved.
Mhm.
We had several versions of the Game Boy growing up, but I didn't have like the N64. I didn't have, but I did
Mhm.
have the Dreamcast and things like that.
Hey, the Dreamcast was cool. Those
I
those
love the
con-
Dreamcast.
those controllers were unreal, except the wire came out the wrong way. It's supposed to go down there, but we'll just put a clip in there. Yeah, the Dreamcast was pretty wild. I thought that was a great way for Sega to go out.
It was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great console.
Mhm.
And that was the time when a lot of the companies, they were trying things differently. Whereas today we've just got, I love the PlayStation. Don't get me wrong, I think it's
Mhm.
great, but it's not as innovative as they used to be. It's just they want them more and more powerful.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it boils down to. I mean, they could be the most immersive games you will ever play. Um, I'm sorry, Ren Zero. Not everybody was like me. Not everybody. Hey, you know what? I had friends that had Genesis, and I was a little bit envious because it was just this sleek, sexy looking little black thing. I'm thinking, oh man,
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm sure there is a reason why for the name change, but yeah, it was Mega Drive
yeah,
for us.
yeah. But that's okay. That's all right. Well, the original Sega was, or yeah, I don't know. But anyway, we'll spare you the history lesson. We're here to talk about our lifestyle, yeah, or something. I don't know.
Absolutely. Now,
Hmm.
growing up, you said you had a really positive experience with games. Have you ever
Hmm.
had people kind of with the negative? Because the same with board games, they've said video games are a bad influence on kids. Have you ever
Hmm.
had that side kind of thrown at you?
Well, real quick, Dave, Bob, I do remember the Amiga. I never owned one, but yeah, they were cool. They got some great ones on there too. Yeah. So if you've got an Amiga, props to you. Those were bigger in your neck of the woods over in Europe, right?
They
Yeah.
were, yeah,
Because
they
I
were.
I I used to call them, because as a friend of mine a few months ago said, "What was the Amiga?" I said, "Well, I believe it's kind of just the European equivalent of the Commodore 64." I don't, I don't know, but anyway, yeah, the negativity that came with the gaming lifestyle after it was mass marketed and just in everybody's homes. I mean, look no further than all the news reports and the electronics service board, coming out with starting to come out with ratings, a few years down the line, and
Hmm.
the effect that Mario had on other people. I will say, not all my Nintendo memories are positive, because like when I was a kid playing Mario 3, Mario made me swear quite a bit. And because pardon my French, but it's like, I told you to fucking jump. What is this bull? Like, give me oh my god. And there were several times when my parents would catch me and my Nintendo would get taken away because they thought it was a bad influence that I was just swearing at a video game when video games don't mean anything, and you shouldn't be wasting your life like that. Not that they ever thought that I was doing that
No,
anyway, right?
just getting a little bit too
Yeah,
involved, perhaps.
a little bit to it. Oh, you guys should have seen me playing Metroid Dread because I love the hell out of it, but there were times when it made me want to throw my Switch through the goddamn wall. Like there were that moments I was raging hard trying to figure some of that shit out, but man, you stop, you take a breath, you
Hmm.
compose yourself, and then you end up kicking that game's ass and you feel like King Kong on drugs. It's that is a positive experience because it's like saying, you did it, kid, you got it, all right.
That's it. You kind of take a breath, you recenter yourself, you find your
Mm-hmm.
focus, and then you go.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep. and then
absolutely.
and then Samus rewards you with a little loving look in her eye. But yeah, the bad press, the negativity back then, saying video games are bad for kids. They got arcade light guns. Oh
Hmm.
well, is all that game does is like go around shooting people. I remember playing GoldenEye on my 64, and my mom would overhear, and she would stop and ask me, "Is that all you do in that game? Is just shoot people?" I said, "No, Mom. It's James Bond. James Bond shot people, but he did other things. You're doing
Yes,
other things now."
it just happened to shoot a
Yeah,
lot.
granted, the emphasis kind of was on shooting people, but there were
Uh-huh.
other things you had to do. But yeah, so yeah, there was obviously a lot of negativity that came with games back then, but that doesn't hinder or taint my memories of it whatsoever. Even the rage moments, hey, you know what? The rage just built up into the euphoria, the sense of success. Um
Yes,
also,
frustration. Yeah,
yeah, because it was like all that hard work is now it's paid off. It's NES hard, man. That's how you learn. Nerdporial, if just hit me up on Twitter. If you don't have that, I don't know, man. Just find me on Twitter. We'll figure it out.
and good morning, guys. We've had a few more people come in, so let me say a quick hello to Coffee on Coraban. Great to see you. Says first time I think I've seen Purple's face. Hi, hello, good to see you. We've got Dave Barbett's come in. We've got Timon Flip. Great to see you as always. Good morning, guys. Um, Archie Collins says, I was always more of an adventure RPG fan, very fond of memories of the old TSR AD&D games on the Atari, ST, and the Commodore.
Commodore Amiga, nice one.
Nice.
Um, okay, we'll sort this out once for all. Nerdporial, just look for Zeropium.
Yeah, I
You'll get me
think it
right there.
should be in the description down below, Notarial. I
Yeah,
think I put it in there.
just hit me up there. Don't worry, we'll get it sorted out.
And good afternoon, Lord Thoth. Great to see you as always. Somebody put in the chat just a little while ago, they were saying that there have been studies proving that playing video games have actually helped people's memories,
Mhm.
especially with people who maybe have dementia, people who are a little bit older. I think that's the kind of the flip side. Whereas in the past, especially in the 80s, we had this whole idea that no matter what people were enjoying, it was somehow bad for them. So
Yeah.
be comic books, movies, video games, whatever it was. If you're spending too much time alone in front of a screen, it's bad for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, I mean, especially nowadays, too much of anything is bad for you, you
Hmm.
know. But it is important to keep those things in moderation. I've always believed that. But hell, I've played Sims for 12 hours straight. I've played Skyrim for 10 hours straight. I've played Nintendo all night and held in my bladder for hours on end. So don't tell me about any of that, you know. That was my choice. It was my choice. And you know, it's you know, you go to the rights board saying, "Oh, well, parents need to be monitoring what their kids are playing." It's like, well, you know what? That's their job. And if they're
Hmm.
not doing their job, I really don't think you can put that in the kids' hands if they haven't been taught from right for wrong with a strict emphasis on what they should and should not be doing. So take it all in
Yes.
moderation. You know what? We're adults now. If I want to wake up and eat cake for breakfast and then play Nintendo, I'm going to do it. Try and
Oh
stop me.
yes. Exactly.
Hmm.
And that's the key. It is everything in moderation. Whereas, if you're going to sit your kid down in front of a game and use it as kind of like a babysitter,
Hmm.
that's where you're going wrong.
Yeah,
That's when you're going to have problems.
there's your first mistake there. Probably not a good thing. So you talk about the effect it has on the world, and it's kind of I guess you could call it an escapism.
Hmm.
You know,
Oh yeah.
it takes your mind off whatever's going on. It's like a you know, it's just a way to get away from everything. Is there? Do you have a go to game that you use for anything like that?
Well, it's the one that we were talking about last time that we were on. My go-to game will always be, if I want to just relax, it'll be Skyrim.
Oh, I was gonna say Bubble Bath Babes on NES.
No,
don't
that's the other one. That's a
don't
shh.
don't ask me how I know that's out there.
No, I love a game. I love open world games. If I can just
Mhm,
kind of wander around, it'll be something like Skyrim. It'll be any of the Red Dead games.
mhm.
I love the Borderlands games. Um,
Those are all games where you just go around killing people. I just,
yes,
I mean, okay, we're all right then. But I'm not here to judge. But
I used to love platformers as well.
oh
I
yeah, for
still have
sure.
a great love for Spyro. Love
Yeah,
Spyro. My big love has always been the Legacy of Kain series. Fantastic stories.
Ren Zero mentioned this one. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yeah, it's all there. Oh my goodness.
it's a great game.
And I do have yeah, okay. Unless you were talking about the original. I mean, look at the friggin' chest on that one. My God, holy crap. And they came with physics.
They did, yeah, another game that we were talking about, and it has
Anyway,
Jiggle Physics. Yes.
yeah, I'll say. All the kids playing it with pillows over their laps. Wasn't that great?
Well, you got to be comfortable when you play. You got to,
Oh, of course, yeah.
rest your controller on something.
Lord Toth, we're not here to judge. You can throw out any random piece of crap that we got. I just mentioned bubble bath babes. I mean, come on. I'm not here to judge anybody.
We've got half the chat now googling bubble bath babes.
Yeah. You won't find it legally, but it's out there. Just like those
It's
Atari porn games. They're out there.
it's out there if you know where to look.
If you
Yes.
yes, if you know where to look. Oh yeah. It's a cool thing.
And just want to say a massive thank you again to Mexican Iron Man. He says the culmination of my gaming experience was when me and my two buddies ran 200-man in-person fiber gig Switch LAN events back in the 2000s. So much fun. Oh my god.
Glorious, wasn't it? Oh man, yeah. Just the right amount of adrenaline and tiredness at the same time. Um I
And
did not
that was a huge thing, wasn't it? LAN
oh.
parties.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I knew people that would sorry, real quick. I did not have a Neo Geo. I don't have the space to hold those friggin' VCRs that play the games on, but no. Neo Geo was really cool though. Really cool. If you could get your hands on one. Yeah, there was Brandon the anime guy looked it up. Yeah, he knows. He
He
knows.
knows.
Um what the hell was I talking about? I
LAN
was
parties.
LAN parties. Yeah, I had friends and I knew of people that would have GoldenEye tournaments, and they would take it so seriously. They would play on one giant TV, and they would cut up pieces of cardboard and section the TV off so not one player could see what the other one was doing. And they were recorded on VHS, and they would play it back and be like, "Oh my god." I mean, they were insane back then. Absolutely insane. It was really cool, really cool. When I say insane or crazy, I'm talking cool, man.
Cool and fun. Yes,
Hmm.
I remember doing that. When we used to have midnight launches for games, things like the Gears of War, for example.
Hmm.
Getting to play those games with people.
Yeah. Oh god, I remember. Yeah, there were a lot of times when buddies and I would just get together. Actually, quick story: we went to a friend's birthday party once. It was a slumber party. We were 16 or 17 years old back then. It's like our last year of high school. We didn't give a shit. So we had went to school on the Friday, came home, went to our friend's place, had the overnight party there, which bled through into Saturday. And because we actually had two friends that celebrated birthdays back to back. So we went to one party, stayed up all night around the campfire, went to my buddy's place the next day, Sunday morning, stayed there all day, and we ended up getting his birthday present at probably around 9 or maybe 7 or 8 o'clock at night, which ended up being Perfect Dark.
Nice.
So we're already on a 2.5 day no sleep bender, going on 3 days now, and we're trying to figure out how to play Perfect Dark. All the four of us huddled around this one TV, and someone had the bright idea to throw an N bomb. N bomb it's not the bad word; it's a nuclear bomb. It's not the not
Not
the
that
it was
bomb. Yeah.
it was literally called N bomb. So whatever. So of course we're all getting hit with the N bomb, and our screens are going so fuzzy and hazy, and we're sitting there with no sleep, just going, "Oh my god, what is going on here?"
How am I looking at?
Yeah, if you ever want to feel drunk without drinking anything, go try that. But man, that's just how it was. It just brought people together, and you could just have fun with it, you know?
It really did. And let me just say a massive thank you and good morning to Snowdub. Great to see you. It says, Puff says he misses you, Purple. I miss Puff too, so mwah to Puff.
Snow dub, wob 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 wob. Sorry if you
Um,
don't like the dubstep. I don't care. Just throw that in there.
Nerd Poro says, I was a freshman when Perfect Art came out. I feel so young.
So do we. So do we. It's great.
It
It's
is.
great. So you always enjoyed the open world games.
Mm-hmm.
You enjoyed platformers. Do you have a favorite of the genre before we get into the deeper subject matter of what we got?
For platformers, my go-to was always Spyro. I mean, that was my favorite.
Hmm.
That was kind of like a game changer for me when that first game came out. Now, I played other platformers before and loved the concept of them, especially because even though they were kind of kiddie, there was a lot of challenge to them. So
Hmm.
once you got to the end of a level, you really felt like you'd achieved something,
Oh
especially
yeah,
in
yeah,
the old consoles because there was no way of saving your progress. So if
yeah.
you died, you went back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning. Get good or get out. Yeah. Oh
Exactly.
yeah. That's how it was. Yep. That's how we were born and raised.
And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. Do you think that as games have progressed now and you can save and there's autosave and all these new functions and things that have been added, do you think that kids picking up games today would be able to play the old games that we played on? Or do you think they would get too frustrated?
Um, I have no doubt they would be able to play them, but after growing up in a generation where everything is just 360 environments and all this immersiveness and stuff, I would think maybe they just get bored with them. You know.
Yes, I
Now,
can't imagine they'd like either the side scrolling games or the top down
yeah,
games.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's just a generalization. I'm not speaking
Mhm.
for everybody, but if it was me, because sometimes I even think, oh my God, why was I into this 30 years ago? But then it dawns on me, oh, okay, I get it. But if you haven't grown up in that time, you're not gonna be able to experience that as is. So some of them may go back and like it, others may not. I still say we get a lot of hand holding in the way that games are made now
Not just kids as well, game
yeah,
journalists.
yeah, with saves and let alone how easy it is to look up a walkthrough now. You
Hmm.
know, you could find anything in a split second if you're ever confused about anything.
So, do you
Yeah.
remember back in the day just kind of searching or asking friends, how do I get past this certain boss or how do I get past this level if you got stuck? Because we used to have the game guides, obviously, that you could pick up and buy. And some of
Mhm.
them, depending on the game, they could be like this thick.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't recall a whole lot of experiences when I had to ask for help. Because I usually played by myself down in the basement. That's why my parents always called me Dungeon Boy, because that's where my Nintendo was. So they hear me going down the stairs, and my stepdad would say, "Oh, there goes Dungeon Boy again." So no, and by then my sister was older, and she had already up and moved out anyway, right? So no, not too often when I had the benefit of having someone else there or being able to ask somebody, unless it was the next day at school, or because everybody did that. Oh, how did you get past this boss, or where did you find that item, or what mountain do I have to blow up, or whatever. It was all there. So
Yes.
yeah, so those instances were peppered throughout my video game career, but I wasn't really one to go and seek out help. If I didn't know
Hmm.
how to do it, I'd probably just move on and play something else until
Hmm.
I either figured it out or heard from someone else somewhere down the line.
Yes, because some people, once they get a game, they just focus on that one game and they want to beat
Hmm.
that game and then they move on to the other thing. I kind
Yeah.
of like jumping between games. Like I say, if I got to a point where it was frustrating me so much that I didn't want to play, I'd put the game down, I'd pick something else up, go play that, then come back to it a couple of weeks later.
Hmm. Yeah. I could see that. But of course, I also when I got a little bit older, my parents would start renting games for me. Like we'd go to Jumbo Video, I'd get my free popcorn, and I'd go check out a Nintendo game, and then I'd have it for the weekend. So you get that game, that's your whole weekend. It's you in that new game trying to squeeze all that into a 48-hour period. And yeah, Snortopoopas, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks. Wait,
So that, yeah.
way to keep it mature, buddy. Yeah, chat, don't read that. Just exit out, man. No. See, you made me lose my train of thought again. This is what happens when we do it live.
I,
So yeah, I would rent a game, and that's your whole weekend. I didn't provide myself the luxury of going off to play something else because I
mhm.
was stubborn. I'm still stubborn now, but I was Nintendo stubborn, where you're just fixated on getting that thing completed. 9 times out of 10, I never finished it though. But because
I miss being able to rent games. I miss
oh
Blockbuster.
god, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we had Blockbuster here too. It's just Jumbo Video was here first, and
Hmm.
then Blockbuster came later on. But yeah, and the funniest thing is like when I started rebuilding my collection several years ago, when I really started taking collecting seriously. Not that I have a massive collection. There's other people's that blow my dick out of the water. Um
Figuratively speaking.
Yeah, yeah. A few years ago, I stumbled upon a couple game stores in town that resell old games and old movies and all that kind of stuff, and it was actually a feeling of liberation to go in there and be able to check these games out and say, "Oh, I know that one. I know that one. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy this one."
Just
There
a
was
wave
there
of nostalgia flowing
yeah,
over you.
because there was no more guessing games on if the game was going to be good enough. It's like, oh, that one's a classic. I'm going to get this. It was like, it was being a kid again, except this kid had money to play with now, where I don't have to tug on my mom's coat, say, "Ma, can I get this game? Can I get this game?" I just did that. Snortopoopa, shut up. Don't even say anything. I yeah, and it was the coolest thing, and I still go maybe a couple times a year, because the games that I'm really seeking out are starting to get a more few and far between. But just the satisfaction of being able to go in there and to live in the past right now to do that kind of thing, it's the coolest feeling in the world.
It really is. And let me say a big thank you again to Brandon in regards to the question that we asked earlier. Says, I have the answer, Purple Valkyrie. The answer is no. I showed my youngest a few and she said no. She would get bored pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. And that's
we
sad.
also, sorry, sweetheart, we have also had a member chat. I managed to catch that one today.
Woohoo!
It's from GETTR, who has been a member for 13 months. Thank you, honey. He said, I was very lucky growing up. My dad has always been a gamer, so it was something we did together. I love that.
I'm envious. My parents were never into it. Although
Mine weren't either. No,
no. Although
no.
the ironic thing was, I recently, a few months ago, just picked up a game on NES called Rally Bike, and it's a little tiny motorcycle racing game. It's not the greatest, but it has such a nostalgic thing for me because that was one of the games I rented from Jumbo Video,
Hmm.
and so I'm down there on a weekend just playing Rally Bike by myself, and out of nowhere, this has never happened before. Out of nowhere, my parents came down into the basement and they said, all right, here we are. We're going to play this game with you. And we proceeded to play Rally Bike together just out of the blue. And I'll never forget my mom yelling at the TV, like, oh no, I crashed. Or my stepdad going, oh, I hit an oil slick. What is that? It was just like one of those amazing moments that you just wish you could capture right there. And I will never forget those images because they had never done that before. And I don't think they ever did again. But it was just one of those classic Hallmark Nintendo family moments that you get, you know?
It's bizarre. Like I say, I would have loved to have had that. The only game that I managed to ever get my mum to play was one, when they kind of you drop the balls. It's not quite Tetris, but you have to kind of link up
Mhm.
the colours. I think
Right,
it was
right.
one of the Sonic the Hedgehog games, if I remember correctly,
Mm.
that did it.
Was it Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine or
Yeah,
whatever the
something like
hell
that.
that
Yeah, basically
was?
to line up all the colours, and she
Mhm.
loved that for some reason, and just it was just something that she played the hell out of, and I was so proud. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. So I know, because I mean, especially with the state of the world these
Hmm.
days, which is nobody's picnic with all the crap going on with the C word and, the new Cold War of 2022. Who knows what the hell is happening there? Would you, especially in times like these, would you consider games as one of the best forms of escapism if you're into that sort of thing?
I think so, definitely. And I think it's, again, we've talked about this in the past. We've had so many different forms of escapism that have been kind of corrupted and co opted.
Hmm.
But there's still this kind of this because video games are so vast and there's so many genres and so many games that you can play. You can still find something that you love and something that you can just fall into,
Hmm.
and you can still have that escapism. Now, whether it's a game that you like to play solo, whether it's something that you love to play as a team, um, there's still, I think, that form where you can just switch on either the PC or your console or whatever it is you want
Hmm.
to play and immerse yourself and just kind of forget what's going on at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Coffee on Corban with a good question there. What game is the most nostalgic for you?
Well, for me, it would probably be Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain.
Ooh.
I
Again with
love
the
that.
violence and the killing of people.
What can I say?
We all know what kinky shit she's into now. Oh my. Jeez.
Would you
Yeah.
believe me if I said it was because I actually love the story as well? Yes, it is a violent game. It is. I will put my
Yeah,
hands up.
yeah, and
But it is brilliant.
yeah, and me and 40 million other guys read Playboy for the articles. Yeah, sure, sure. Dave G Sound Tron the arcade game. I'm sorry, I thought that said T2 the arcade game. I loved that game. It was a piece of crap on Super Nintendo, but I still loved it. Um, to pinpoint the most nostalgic, I don't know if I could because specifically, my whole Nintendo career is just wrapped up in one big bundle of goodness. You know,
Hmm.
I could look at a picture of Peach on the wall and it just fills me with love. I could look at a picture of that's how they were designed, though. You could look at a picture of Mario or Boo or Donkey Kong or anything like that, and they make you feel good. You know,
Yes,
they're just about making you feel like a normal human being who's just happy. You know, that's what it should be like for me,
absolutely.
anyway. You know, I
It
love a good
is.
immersive thing where you kill
Mhm.
people and you get your heart pumping and shit. But sometimes I just like kicking back and being relaxed and just feeling like I'm on a sedative without taking anything. You know.
It's like going back to old friends, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I want to say a thank you to Nerd Pour Your Life for me. Sends us a $2 super sticker. Thank you, sweetheart. It's a little controller. It says GG. So thank you, sweetheart.
GG,
Really appreciate
guys.
that.
GG. Yeah. Oh,
Martin Acosta Santana, good to see you. Says, wait, no. The first Wing Commander is my nostalgia one.
man.
Nice.
How many of those did they have? Because they were across multiple systems as well. Because a lot of them looked really good. Especially they
Hmm.
had like Mark Hamill and Malcolm McDowell in them and things like that. Yeah, that
They
was some
had a
good stuff.
huge cast. It was
Oh
really
yeah.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I know how popular they are.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Ren Zero
Absolutely.
says the original Doom is probably my nostalgic game. Um, we've got people talking in the chat about arcades as well. Now, were
Yeah.
you an arcade fan growing up as well?
I there was actually only one or two arcades in town back when I was a kid. And I never really got over there that often. Conveniently enough, whenever I would visit my grandparents, they had a mall that was basically just right across the street, and there was an arcade in there. But all the older kids would be huddled around the Mortal Kombat machines and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really remember what was included in that arcade. But I remember several arcades that I had visited throughout my life had the T2 arcade game, the one with the gun, and
Yes.
you blow the crap out of everything. And God, that was one I probably sunk the most quarters into. You know, there's been a lot over the years, but man, oh, that was such a trip, absolute trip.
I've got to admit, I have a real soft spot for arcades. We didn't have as many over here as I think you guys had.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that we had were generally kind of, they would be attached to either like a shopping mall or they'd be
Mm,
attached to a big cinema complex or something. So,
mm.
you know, whilst you're waiting to go in the cinema, you can send the kids off to play some games and get a
Yeah,
coffee
yeah,
or something.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but they were great.
Yeah,
Um,
they were.
Makuba76 says, remember Punch Out on the arcade?
Ah, I never got to play Punch Out on the arcade. I've seen it done, but no, I was never fortunate enough to find one of those anywhere. Sad but true. I'm sorry.
And good afternoon to Stu Kenobi. Good to see you. Says Street Rod was a cool one. Commander King 4.
My very first computer ran on DOS, and I played Commander Keen on that piece of crap. How friggin' cool was that? That was back before I upgraded that computer to Windows 3.1. Man, yeah, I remember playing
Back
Commander
in the
Keen.
day.
Yeah, try playing Commander Keen with a friggin' keyboard and nothing else back then.
And let me say good morning and welcome to Makani. Hello, sweetheart. He sends us a $2 super sticker. Thank you. And it's a little Shiba Inu with the hearts. Thank you.
Oh,
I love that.
how do the kids do it? Nope, that's a circle. I can't do. I can't do it. Screw that. Screw that.
Close enough.
Also, who threw that out there? Oh, who was it? Coffee on Corbin, or who mentioned Hydro Thunder? Hydro Thunder was freaking awesome, man. That was cool. Played that once. I got to play
Ah,
that
yes.
once on an arcade cabinet, like the full thing where you're like steering the boat and everything. Oh my god, that was good.
I
I
don't think
think
I've ever
that was
played
yeah, I think that was in the States somewhere. We never really had anything cool like that.
that. I always loved the huge cabinets that you could get, you know, with the bench that you could actually sit on. You know, you
Yeah.
really get immersed in not just the ones
Oh
that you can
yeah,
stand up.
like afterburner and shit.
Yeah.
You're actually going all over the place. Yeah. Oh man, those were good. So there's one thing I wanted to touch on. Bringing speaking of things, San Francisco Rush 2049. Oh yeah, my buddies and I, doing stunt tracks over and over and over again. There was one point, also quick story. I took the little mini like Honda Civic or whatever that's in there. It's the little golf cart. It's not a
Yeah,
golf cart, but we
the
called it
little
a golf
thing.
cart. Yeah. We screwed with the gravity effects with a cheat code or something like that. And we were doing this one stunt course. There was a lot of jumps in there, a bunch of crap. So I took this little Civic, and because we had screwed with the gravity, I had found a way to actually reverse this little car up a ramp while grinding against the wall. And when it hit the peak, it would actually float out and hang there in midair for probably a good 10 to 20 seconds before it started to come back down again. I probably could not recreate that moment today, but oh man, yeah. So there's my Rush 2049 story.
I love when you can mess with the in-game physics.
Mhm. Yeah, and no one else was able to do it, but yeah, so there we go. So the one thing I wanted to mention, because this is huge for me, because
Yeah.
I've been playing this franchise since it came out over 20 years ago now. You talk about a game that literally brought the world together in the most horrible time imaginable. It's Animal Crossing.
Ah,
This game had the benefit of coming out just when the world turned to complete shit.
mm-hmm.
And I don't think, especially, it's easier to see this nowadays because everything, you can see it online. Watching the hype for this thing and watching the community come together and just share all these amazing stories when people are trapped in their houses and just doing all that kind of thing. I don't know if I will ever see anything like that again, because man, it united so many people so fast. It was a tear jerk moment because I'm thinking, that's just precious. In a time in our lives when we should just be miserable all the time,
Mm-hmm.
this was the greatest escape we ever had. And no word of lie, guys, this is my everyday morning sip of momentary grace. I still play this every single morning since it came out, and I see no sign of stopping.
Now, this is a game that I've been recommended time and time again, but I've never
Hmm.
picked up. Is it still a good time to pick up and play?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially now with all the free updates and all the new content that came out with it. And man, you can get, even if you just want to have a good time watching people build things, go online and look at the things that these people have made out of their islands and their villages. It is absolutely amazing.
So
Yeah.
I never realised it was so immersive. I know it's incredibly popular because, like I say, a lot of people that I've talked to say this is, their kind of go-to if they want to relax, if they want
Hmm.
to just kind of shut off the world for just a little bit. They
Yeah.
just go back into Animal Crossing.
Yeah. It's still my happy place, and it always will be. Yeah, it's one of the longest tenured franchises I've played, because I mean I have every single one of them, and I played them way back when it first came out. Also, yeah,
Mhm.
oddly enough, that was one of the games I rented from Blockbuster. Didn't didn't know a damn thing about it, but I my girlfriend and I at the time picked it up and we played it and we absolutely loved it. And when we took our copy back to be returned, we went out and bought our own. And I
I
still
love
I
that.
still have it. Yeah. It was so good.
If you could still have places to rent games, do you think you still would, or do you take advantage of like consoles where you've got like the free pass sometimes to try games? Do you do that, or do you tend to be a lot more picky nowadays with what you actually play?
Uh, I tend to be. I would say I'm probably a lot more picky at what I like purchase outright. And 9 times out of 10, I still prefer having a physical copy of something, because
Same.
in today's digital world, I like that feeling of ownership. You know. But yeah, I'm definitely a lot more picky now than what I was 20, 30 years ago, because games are a lot more technical now. There's a lot more opportunity for things to go wrong. Cyberpunk and any other thing
Is
like
that
that.
is that game playable now? I know it was
I
passable on
wouldn't know.
PC, but
I
I
wouldn't
got
know.
rid of it.
Honestly, guys, after patch maybe 6, 7, or 8, I just got rid of it. You
Yeah,
know.
if your patch is bigger than the actual game, you know you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, it's like, oh, good. I can't play this until I download the next 80 gigabyte update. So, no, I'm definitely more picky now than what I was. Because if you go to a store, you buy a Nintendo game for $50 back then, you bring it home and it's a piece of crap. Oh, well, you know, you move on with your life. Nowadays, you're paying twice, maybe three times that much for
Hmm.
something, that may be great. It may be the best thing you've ever played, but in today's market, when everything is so complicated and overly complicated, I must say, comparatively to past generations, yeah, I definitely, by choice and almost out of necessity, have to be more picky with what my wallet goes towards. Because there's
Yes.
no such thing as a sure thing, but I would like to have a sure thing when you're paying your hard-earned money. you know I want a whole game. Don't give me the season pass crap. Give me a whole
But
friggin' finished game.
that's another thing that that games have kind of gone towards, especially in the last 10, 15 years, I would say. You no longer get the full game. You'll get the
Hmm.
game, and then you'll get the DLC, or then you'll get the extras, or you'll get the pre-orders and also get extras, and then you've got the pay to play as well. So you've got the loot boxes. Do you think that has taken away from the fun of the game? Because I hate loot boxes, I've got to admit.
I I don't like the idea of it. I think it is just an absolutely greedy way of doing things. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. Same. I stopped
Hmm.
pre-ordering a long time ago. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
worth it. Brandon, anime guy, with the another good point. Money is finite. Be wise in the game. Yeah, your money is finite, and so is your time. If I'm gonna
Yes.
pay money for something, I want it to be worth my time. Um, yeah, I. What were we talking about?
Loot boxes being
Loot
ripped
boxes.
off.
Yeah, keep them away from me. I even play a few mobile games. I recently just started playing Mario Kart Tour, which is great. It's phenomenal. I'm still trying to figure out the control scheme, but yet the greediness in that game is a little bit out there, but I'm enjoying with what I'm playing for free. It's great to just pick up and go here and there, whatever. But yeah, if I'm going to a store or I'm occasionally buying something digitally, I want a full complete package. I don't want any excess crap flooded in there. I don't want loot boxes. If you're going to throw something into the game, throw it into the game. You should not have to pay extra for something you've already paid 70 to 90 to $100 for.
Yes, and
Don't
I don't
Yeah.
mind grinding if it's worth getting as well. But it's also games where you're constantly Destiny, for example. Destiny 2
Mhm.
was bad for that. That's the reason why I stopped playing. You're
Yeah.
constantly having to chase this upper level.
Yeah, it's really just not worth it in my eyes. Don't tell me that I need to spend extra for a chance that I might get something. Either put it in the game or don't put it in there at all. Don't
Hmm.
make us pay extra for something we're already forking over $100 for. Don't give me that shit that where you're still trying to make money. Don't friggin' tell
In-game
me
currency,
that
yeah.
you can't make enough money on the goddamn software that you're pumping out there, considering your diehard fans are probably waiting for this game for the next 6 years to begin with. Elder Scrolls 6, looking at you. Don't you dare put a friggin' loot box in that game, or I will find you, Todd Howard, and I will beat the ever loving crap out of you, and I will make you like it and beg me for more. And then I will hurt you so bad you'll beg me to die. But I won't let you. Give me a friggin' complete game and leave it at that. And if you don't like doing that because it's not part of your business practice, step off, bitch, and suck it. Because you are not worth
Yeah.
my hard earned money. I'm sorry, but that's
Yeah,
just how I
that's
feel.
exactly the reason that I fell out of love with Elder Scrolls Online. Now, that
Mm,
was a game that had massive potential, but it was
yeah.
so boring to play.
Yeah, and again, I got lost. I
Hmm.
bought the expansion when it was on sale, and I
Same.
haven't I haven't got back to it yet because I was just so lost the last time. I just yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I'm not. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my time with it, but that was one of the other things too. It was the sorry. This thing is itchy, guys. I'm sorry. It was around that time when MMOs and all that kind of thing, they were starting to wear me down a little bit. um I missed being able to hold a controller, just kick back, relax, play at my own pace, and do all that sort of thing. Yes, ESO is a lot better now, but
Hmm.
I still couldn't figure out what I was doing. But hey, it works. It just
It
works.
just
Yeah,
works. It
it
has,
just works. Oh man, yeah, yeah. So anyway, so to summarize, yes, definitely a lot more picky now. What about you? I've talked enough.
I'm definitely a lot more picky. I think I'm a lot more jaded as well. Whereas before we used to have companies that, because they had such a great track record, Bethesda used to be brilliant with the games that they
Mhm.
brought out. I would always gravitate towards them. The same with IDOS when IDOS was around, and CD Projekt Red as well. If you knew that they were bringing a game out, you knew that it was going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
But as we've said with Cyberpunk,
Yeah,
that kind of killed that.
they were like our last ray of hope hanging up there, and I'm
They
thinking,
were.
all right, we'll let the Polish show us how it's done. Are they Polish? Where are they from?
They are Polish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll let them show us how it's done, and then yeah, that didn't go so well, and so I'm thinking, all right, I guess I'm just gonna go play the 30-year-old freaking Mario Kart I got kicking around here. Yep, why not? Because all that still works. Yeah, so
Yep. The Underground. I remember Naughty Dog. Yep.
mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's taking me back. Oh, that's taking me back.
But I think that's another issue that a lot of people are very kind of jaded with the companies, whereas they used to be very loyal to whatever they would put out and they would buy, because we've had such a bad track record and we've had companies, behaving badly. I think would probably be the best way to put it.
Hmm.
Um, I think people are definitely very more selective with what they buy and what they pick up and with what they support.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and rightfully so.
Hmm.
Because the impact that that's had on the market. I mean, these companies make billions, absolutely billions.
Oh, gotcha.
It's astronomical, and I still don't understand why they feel the need to just make more. You know, I mean, look at Call of Duty. They put that crap out every single year, and the freaking kids go nuts for it, and I don't see why.
Hmm.
I just don't get it.
A lot of
I'm
games
just
do that. I mean, you think of the FIFA games, they're
mm,
pretty much the same game every single year, but people love
yeah.
them. I would imagine the Madden is the same, pretty much.
Yeah, I gave up on Madden almost 10 years ago because I just ended up buying the copy of Madden this year whenever it came out. And then that was one that went into all that ultimate team crap and just give me a goddamn franchise mode that has some depth to it. Don't give me this friggin' ultimate team crap. EA, you suck my balls, man. Get the hell out of here.
Same.
I'll go back and play Madden '09. Yeah, I'll go back and play this fucking thing here with my quarterback on the cover that still works and plays well. I'll do that any day of the week. Pardon my language. I'm sorry. The greediness, it really irritates me because there's no reason. The only reason they keep making money off these things is because the stupid people keep forking their money over for it. It drives me
Mhm.
insane.
Yeah, and I would agree with Martin Acosta, absolutely. I used to play Call of Duty for the campaign and zombies when that was worth playing.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
never a big, multiplayer, to be
No,
honest.
I mean, I owned a couple Call of Duty games in my time. I had a World at War and Black Ops 2 or something like that. I played them for the campaigns,
Hmm.
because as soon as I went online, the horror stories are true, guys. Like they're out for blood, and they will within the first 2 or 3 seconds they'll start spamming the naughty words, the words that you shouldn't be saying anywhere, and things.
Hmm.
And it's like, you know what? Peace out, guys. I've got better things to do.
Yeah, you're sucking all the fun out of this,
Hmm.
guys.
Yeah, so no thanks. No thanks.
Well, even the biggest competitor that used to be with Call of Duty, you think Battlefield, they've had an absolute hammering with their latest game, and rightly so, because
Good.
from what I've seen, it's an
Yeah.
absolute piece of crap.
Yeah. I mean, even the major corporations deserve to get kicked in the ass once in a while because
Hmm.
you gotta stay clean. You really do, because the more money the more money they make, the more they want, and there's no end to it. Especially with things being as big as they are now. Like games are bigger than they ever been.
Oh,
Like
gotcha.
game size wise, game type wise, map size, all that kind of stuff. They're huge. They're absolutely huge, which really
The
is the
memory isn't getting any bigger on consoles, though. I will.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I always harken back to the days of, simpler times and games from 30 years ago that still work, that are a joy to play. That's
I miss discs. That's one of the big things. You were talking about wanting physical copies as much as possible.
mhm.
I loved having a physical copy of a game. I don't
Yeah,
like having digital copies.
me either. Me either. When you mentioned discs, I thought you meant floppy disks. Like the
We
three
can go back to back to
the
floppy disks
three
as
and a
well.
quarter inch ones. And see you, Duzzies. Thank you for stopping by.
Take care. Thank you,
The
honey.
um the 3 and a quarter inch ones, or the 5 and 3/8 or whatever, the floppy disks that were actually floppy. Oh man, I played a couple of games on there too. All the games that I ran on DOS came on little floppy disks. I probably still got them somewhere, but
Yes,
yeah.
but you had to make sure that you made sure you had all of them, because if you lose one of them,
Yep, you're screwed. You're
it's
screwed. You can't go from floppy disk 1 to 3. The computer's just gonna puke. It's not gonna know what to do. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Nope. Don't know what I'm doing there. But what would so to go back on track a little bit?
Mhm.
What would you say, if you could pinpoint it? What has the biggest influence? I worded that wrong. How have games influenced you and your lifestyle, and how you are as a person today? What's the biggest influence they've had on you?
I think it's just being able to have that escapism that you talked about earlier. It's that ability to, delve into whatever world that you want to and know that you're going to have a good time playing. So whether it be fantasy, whether it's sci-fi, whether it's, a beat 'em up or a side scroller or an RPG, whatever you fancy playing, it's out there for you.
Mhm.
And you can just immerse yourself into it, even if it's just for an hour. It's that ability to shut off the outside world and have some fun. I think
Yeah.
that's definitely something that we need at the moment.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I still play Animal Crossing every morning. It's my happy place. I play other games, but it's part of my everyday routine. Like, it's part of my lifestyle now. I need that. I crave that desire to just, my happy place. It gives you something to look forward to at the end of the day, or the end of my day
Yes.
anyway. But yeah, I totally agree. And I get that same feeling from, other games from other genres, other platforms and stuff like that. Absolutely. And of course, me working nights for 20 years,
Yes.
guys, there's not much to do at 3 o'clock in the morning. So you better have a hobby that's going to eat up your time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always awake while the world sleeps. So
I
Santa Claus
used
has
to
got
work
nothing on
nights.
me.
Yep.
I
It's
am the bloody vampire. Yeah.
it's a weird feeling being awake at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I don't recommend it. It's not for everybody. Snorter Poopus, you are just out there today, my friend. What are you doing? Chat, just X that out. We don't need to see that. I know I've already popped off probably like 3 or 4 F bombs. I'm sorry. We try to keep it PG here. Talking about good old memories and nostalgia, and here I am going, fuck this guy. I'm sorry. Sorry for the kiddies watching. I hope you're okay.
We've got another member chat. Thank you. So this one is from Brandon, the anime guy. Thank you so much. He's been a member for 4 months so far. Thank you, Brandon. He says SNES top 5 all are interchangeable. Mario Brother, Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Final Fantasy 3, and Chrono Trigger. I dare you to change my mind.
Uh, yeah, that's a tough call. Oh, that's a really tough call. Clock Tower.
Uh,
No, no. Clock Tower is
Lies.
not for everybody. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4.
Mm-hmm.
Star Fox 2. Let's see. Yeah, there's two. You can't pick a bad game out of the bunch. I mean, there was a lot of crappy games for in that generation, but yeah. I'm not going to question anybody's top 5 because they'd be universally appealing to anybody, and somebody else's top 5 could be totally different than yours, but they're still going to be really damn good. You
Oh
know what
god,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah, there were so
There are
many yes.
so many good games out there.
So many you just couldn't go bad with. It was absolutely phenomenal time to be alive. To grow up in a time when games are literally growing up with you, they're adapting, they're becoming a little bit more technologically advanced, and then you had console wars. We still have console wars now, but realistically, guys, come on, it's not the same. It was Nintendo and Sega duking it out, man. That's how it
Hmm.
was. That was the console war, man. It's
That
not.
was the console war. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a glorious time to be alive, and it's glorious now because you can still go back.
Exactly. That is the one thing about being a fan of games and a gamer. You can always go back. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit harder to track down some of the consoles that you particularly love, or it's a little bit harder, as you said, to find a game that you really want. But if you're persistent, it is out there and you
Yeah,
can find it.
yeah. Human waffles. I'd put Earthbound on a 5.5 list. Yeah, that's another one. It's classic. A lot of people don't know why it's a classic though, because that game is another game that's not for everybody.
Hmm.
It's wild. Like it gets pretty friggin' weird. If you've never seen it before, go check it out because it is literally a Super Nintendo acid trip. Like towards the end, and it's often confusing too. Yeah, but
Before we wrap up and say goodbye to everyone, what would you recommend to people who are maybe not really into gaming? Would you say it's a hobby that's worth getting into? Do you think it's still accessible to newbies?
I do think from the outside looking in, I could see certain things being a little bit intimidating.
Hmm.
If you were to pick up an Xbox controller, you'd say, "What the hell are all these buttons? What do I push to do this?" And, you know, it can be a little bit daunting, a little bit overwhelming, because it's especially today when things are just insanely complicated. It's not for everybody.
Hmm.
But on the flip side, because everything is so much more accessible now than what they were 30 to 40, even 50 years ago, it's a lot easier to get into. Um, if it were me, it would be really easy to get into. I don't know if it's easy to stick with it unless you
Hmm.
really, really find something that you like. If you're not into games or technology or anything, it's probably not for you. But you could of course go and play something and it totally changes your life and suddenly you become a gamer.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it depends what type of person you are, what you're looking for, what your life goals are. Maybe you just don't have any time for that whatsoever. So I think it's really up to the individual. But if you're people like us, you're already there, you're going to stick with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's something
Hmm.
that's kind of ingrained. And Snowdrop
Yeah.
brings up a really good point as well. Says new gamers should start with Switch, very user friendly.
New gamers should start with a Nintendo. Plug in the controller and use two buttons. Simple as that. Yeah, yeah. Switches are very user friendly, game wise. Yeah, and they're fun for the whole family, and they got some vicious stuff on there too. Let's
Oh yeah.
Nintendo's always made kiddie consoles. Nah,
Yeah, you think it's the more
they
family friendly, but
yeah
not necessarily.
they got some stuff, man. Hey, I'll tell you what. I played Blood Rain originally the first time on GameCube, and there's f bombs in that game. I'm thinking, wow, a Nintendo game just dropped an f bomb on my ass. What's going on here? Yeah. There's some cool stuff out there.
Did I actually just hear that? What the hell?
Yeah, no kidding. I was like, what is this? Wow. Oh yeah. I mean, well, look, we had Conker's Bad Fur Day in there, and that was as raunchy as it get. And then I
Yeah,
loved.
can you imagine how many parents picked that up for their kids, thinking it was, a cute little cartoony base game?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember I remember seeing the commercials for it. I'm thinking, wow. Because the commercials would always say this is censored. To see the full version, go to www. Yeah, it was something called the internet, whatever the hell that was. Yeah, it was crazy. I loved Banjo Kazooie. Banjo Kazooie had friggin' bikini babe at the end with holding giant melons or some shit like that. There's some stuff out there. Yeah, if you're looking for something user friendly, I would say Switch would be probably your best option,
Hmm.
especially if you have a family that you want to play those type of games with. But yeah, it's really up to your personal preference, really.
I would agree with that, absolutely. I think it's something that's still very accessible. You just have to kind of put the work in and find what, appeals to you, as with
Hmm.
most hobbies.
Yeah, because they're not going to be for everybody. But luckily, we all know what we're talking about here.
Well, sometimes,
Just, just,
occasionally.
just trust Rise and Shine. She won't steer you wrong.
I love getting to talk games, and I especially love getting to talk games with Zeropium because I know he knows what he's talking about. You can tell when somebody has a lifelong love of a hobby. So
A
getting
love
to do
hate
this is a
a
treat.
love hate relationship sometimes because there may or may not have been some gaming paraphernalia that has been broken over the years. It goes with the territory. But yeah,
Well, I think if you're a gamer and you haven't broken a controller at some point, can you really say that you're a gamer?
you're not a gamer if you haven't broke something or at least tried to. You gotta pop that cherry at least once.
Oh my gosh. Before we wrap up and let people go on their merry way for Friday, what have you got coming up?
I'm gonna play Nintendo. Um, no, just tune in this Monday. You'll catch me on 0 Hour again, live on Mornings of Mischief. Other than that, you can see me here on Rise and Shine with Purple Valkyrie whenever we do this again. And next time, maybe
Yes.
we'll talk about quantum physics.
Yes.
We'll educate you this time. Yes,
Yes. Yeah,
and
we're going to steer completely away from gaming next time.
yeah.
We're going to talk something different.
Yes, absolutely. And I know I mentioned this before. If you guys want to see me play anything or whatever, I can upload those to the tube. But if you're
Yes.
not gonna watch it, I'm not gonna do it.
I've been watching them.
My time is a wee bit finite. So if you want me to go a little more in depth there with some commentary, let me know. If not, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. Who knows? But I just want to say a quick thank you once again to everybody for hanging out with us on Friday, whether it's a busy day for you or not. We appreciate you tuning in, and it's been an absolute blast to do this again. And I know we'll do it again soon, so look forward
We
to that.
will, absolutely.
So,
I love getting to talk games with
mhm.
Zeropium. I always look forward to doing this. And I think, as we said last time, we're going to have to do this a little bit more often. I think once a month.
Every single day.
Every day, yes.
Dude, we've got enough. We could do one game per day, and we can go on for the next 20 years. How friggin'
We
crazy
could.
is that?
I
No,
would love to do history
no.
of particular franchises. I think we could really kind of sink our teeth
Sure.
into some.
Oh, yeah, because we haven't done a deep dive on any particular franchise yet, except for maybe
Mhm.
Skyrim. But that was
Yes.
individually segregated there. Ooh, that was a bad word, but yeah. We'll just stay tuned for more fun gaming talk or whatever you guys want to talk about. It doesn't really matter. What kind of dish soap do you guys like to use? My mom asked me that a few days ago. Oh, I use this. What dish soap do you use? I said, wow, am I that boring? We're talking about dish soap now. Oh my god. No,
The joys of
honestly,
being an adult, yeah.
yeah, adulthood and responsibilities. No, just a big thank you to you, lovely ladies and gentlemen. I love getting to hang out with you guys. Hopefully, I haven't overstayed my welcome. I'm not here to take over anything. I just love getting to spend time with you because it doesn't get to happen very often. And a big thank you to my host, Purple Valkyrie, for bringing me on her lovely show again. It's always a pleasure to do this, and I look forward to the next one.
It is, absolutely. So, guys, a massive thank you to my awesome co host, as always, Zeropium. A massive thank you to you guys who joined us today. We had some fantastic comments, as always. You guys were on fire. I will be back on Monday. We're going to be joined by that 70s rock fan. We're going to be talking Elvis, which is going to be fun.
Oh,
Exactly.
he
We've
sang so good they let him do movies. He couldn't even act.
and I love Elvis, but yeah, he was a bad actor.
Yeah. That was an Eddie Murphy joke. Said, fuck it, let him sing all his dialogue. Yo, Elvis, we gotta win this race. We gotta win this race. I'm sorry. Go watch Delirious. It's a hoot. Anyway, yes. What? So that's Monday. What else do you have coming up?
I'm going to be reviewing Vikings Valhalla. I think it's going to be on Friday. Max von Priestley is going to be joining, and Wednesday, I'm not quite sure yet. We're trying to figure out, but we've got lots more stuff to come. We're back, we're rolling, so it is great to be back with everybody.
Excellent.
I did miss you guys.
Lemonade, that cool, refreshing drink. I'm sorry. Yo,
Sorry,
Elvis, you want
I know
some
that as
lemonade?
well.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like Purple's getting back into the swing of things. It's glad to see you. We're all glad to see you back and kicking it live, just doing what
Hell
we do.
yes.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And I've got a few videos to release over the weekend as well. So lots more fun stuff to come. So a massive, massive thank you to everybody who joined us today. Huge thank you to everybody who sent super chats, who sent super stickers, who sent member chats. You guys are the best as always. So have a wonderful Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. No doubt we'll see each other around YouTube. And take care of each other, I think is the best way to say it. Take care, guys.
It's a Mario.